Since I am really excited about the release of the Cosmic desktop environment, I would like to share some FPS benchmark results. To test the Cosmic desktop environment, I installed Arch Linux on my Steam Deck, and alongside Cosmic I also installed KDE Plasma and Gnome, and of course Gamescope. And Gamescope is obviously not a desktop environment, but I wanted to include it for good measure, since I guess it is the face of Linux gaming really. And as you can already see, we are on the Arch Linux kernel 6.17.9, running on the Steam Deck as I already said, and the GNOME version is 49 and the Plasma version is 6.5.4. Gamescope version is 3.16.18 and the Cosmic is I guess 1.0, the just released one. So let's start with the results from Cyberpunk 2077. As we can see, the results are very close together, which is a good thing, I guess. There's not too much variation, although Cosmic is actually slightly outperforming both GNOME and Plasma, but then again Gamescope is a little bit better than all of them, which is to be expected, I guess. And just to note, I did run Gamescope from the display manager and not as an embedded session as I have shown earlier to demonstrate Gamescope. Since all of the results are this close together, we are only talking about 2 to 3% differences between the desktop environments, although they are repeatable, so I guess it's not just run-to-run variation. Obviously, if we have 50.49 or 48.54 FPS is not really that noticeable, but still differences are to be measured. And then continuing with Red Dead Redemption 2, still in 720p on low settings, we can see a very similar pattern. Gamescope is leading, again with a very small margin, and following is Cosmic, then Plasma, and on last place is GNOME. But then again, these are very small differences, but they are repeatable, which means it's not only run-to-run differences, but of course 50, 45 and 44, or for Gamescope 46 FPS. It's all very close together, which means you can't really go wrong with any of them in the case of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now continuing with GTA 5 Enhanced, again 720p low, things are starting to be a bit more interesting. For some reason, Cosmic or GNOME and Plasma are roughly 15% ahead of Cosmic, and Gamescope on the other hand is around 10% ahead of both GNOME and Plasma, which then again means there is around 30% difference between Cosmic and Gamescope, which is quite drastic. I actually went back and did a fourth run of the GTA 5 Enhanced benchmark with Cosmic after all the other tests were done, just to be sure this wasn't some faulty benchmark or whatever. But unfortunately I still only got a little bit above 60 FPS on average. And now moving on to Forza Horizon 5. Unfortunately, things don't get any better for Cosmic. Both GNOME and Plasma in this case are very close together, with Gamescope outperforming both of them again. However, I did have some major issues with Forza Horizon 5. It didn't really want to start on Cosmic for me. I mean, it did start, but the windows just started flashing and jumping around, which means I couldn't even get into the main menu to start the benchmark. I don't know if this is maybe an issue with the X-Wayland implementation. I did read in the beta release of Cosmic that there were still some X-Wayland issues for some specific games. So maybe this was the issue for me as well in this case. Again, all of the other options were very close together. Cosmic, however, did not finish the benchmark. Now moving on to the last game of this test, Team Fortress 2, this time in 1080p low. I guess Team Fortress 2 might not be the most popular game to benchmark. I just wanted to throw in a Linux native game as well, to not just have Proton games. In this case we're back to our regular observing from the beginning. All of the three options, or three desktops and Gamescope, are very close together. We're talking again about not even 2% difference in this case. Gamescope is the most consistent option of the four in this case, because both Gnome and Plasma had some weirdly high first run and then dropped off in the second and third run, while Cosmic again was quite consistent as well. So I guess all four options are very good in this case, but as I already said, Gnome and Plasma did have much larger variations than Cosmic and Gamescope. So now to conclude, I took all the average scores and put them together again to get an overall score. This led me to a score for Cosmic of 46.6 FPS, or 58.3 if we cancel the Forza Horizon result. Unfortunately, Gnome is over 8% better at 63.3 FPS, and Plasma is basically the same at 63.5 FPS. Gamescope is another 4% higher at 66.1 FPS, which goes to show it might even be worth it to configure a Gamescope session on a desktop PC, like a lot of distros are doing it, for example Bassite. This might allow you to squeeze out the last couple of FPS if you are on limited resources, like I was for example with the Steam Deck for this test. And if you're interested in how to configure a Gamescope session on a, I say, regular distro, I will leave the link to this GitHub repo down below so you can configure it for yourself. Fortunately, it is pretty easy since you only have to run this install script. So now to end this video, I hope you found it at least somewhat interesting, and I'm really sorry if I maybe spoke too slowly or my accent is really terrible, but of course this is the first time I am even uploading a video with my voice in it, so maybe you can cut me some slack, and well, I hope to see you next time.